Hey, what's going on? Welcome. Boy, that last video went so much longer than I expected that I'm looking at my camera right now and I can see that I have a limitation as to how long this video can actually be because I need to like delete stuff off of this phone. Um, are we going to be able to do this in 25 minutes? Let's find out. All right, this one we're going to take a look at this yearbook from the 18th Medical Command, the 121st Evacuation Hospital, U.S. Army Community Hospital, Seoul, South Korea, United States Army. Korea, 1989. Our mission, your health. This is the Olympic Stadium in Seoul. The Olympics were in Seoul in 1988. The year before this tour that I did the tour of 1989. So it was a great time to be in the city. As you might imagine, there was tons of stuff going on because the Olympics had just happened. This yearbook is an interesting situation of it only happens in Korea. It's one of those things. There's so many things that only happen the Korean way. Now, things happen similar to this, I would say, in perhaps Germany. Um, but boy, the Korean people are more than happy to come to your work and take tons of pictures of you and make them into this, incorporate them into this beautiful yearbook. You know, and the whole thing, I believe this was $15, maybe 20. I don't even think it was 20. It might even have been 10. I mean, it's really possible this was 10. That's 1989. This was more like $10. It's just one of these things. And you sign on as soon as you get there, you know, they come through and take a bunch of pictures and then at your work, you know. And then they make this beautiful yearbook and then they bring it and give it to you. And one of the fun things about this was our commander. He later went on to be the secretary of the VA for a couple of years. I liked him. He was nice. He was always nice to me. He wrote me a couple good letters. All right, so this is all top brass. See, they give the top brass these large pictures. See, the only picture, the only person who gets, you get the colonel and sergeant major get color pictures, and then the other top brass get half pages in black and white, and then you get all these great pictures of everybody at work at different jobs. Like this is the adjutant's office, and here's what was funny about this whole experience is they took these pictures, right? They came through and took all these pictures, then they brought the pictures back, developed, right, and to back to the places where people worked, and they would usually give them to like whoever was in charge, you know, to the NCOIC or whoever's there, you know, in charge. The ranking person at the office that day gets a stack of pictures, and then all they want you to do is to write something on the back of the pictures. Now, the whole idea they believe is that you're going to write the name of the person who it's a picture of, and then they're going to print that person's name on the you know, in the yearbook underneath their picture, but instead people write whatever the hell they want. And so it says, how long for a box? When do you PCS? These guys work in the mailroom. Man, no letter again. So they just write whatever they want. This is fun. No, I don't have a box for you. Go away. See, these are the guys that work in the mailroom. Too much soju. So these are all the cats that worked in the mailroom, and they wrote whatever the heck they wanted. Not enough soju again. Too much soju and not enough. Anything, and it's all just about being funny, right? It's the army, and especially it's Korea, so everybody's trying to have fun. And see, sometimes they just write stuff like, and like these might be like this lady right here that works in the office. Somebody wrote, "Can I go home now?" Right? Yeah, she's like a Korean civilian that works for the U.S. Army, like in the adjutant's office in the hospital. So yeah, he's talking about like a promotion ceremony or something. He's giving you a hard time. What ceremony? I canceled it last Sunday. I can't drive. I lost the keys. This is like some unit driver. The A-team. So it just goes on like this, page after page after page. And there's some funny stuff, right? There's a lot of funny stuff. And we're just going to keep going until we get to the emergency room, because that's where I used to work. So they put me in the emergency room. You know, a lot of people used to say the reason why they put me in the ambulance section and the emergency room is because a lot of people look at the, oh, look at this girl right here. I can't remember her name, but it's the first time I ever, oh my gosh. My mind was just completely blown. All right, so I was just going to say that this girl right here we're going to look at is the first time I ever heard anyone use the phrase back to the world. This girl used to say back to the world like 5 times a day. She worked in the motor pool. Look, it says back to the world right there underneath her picture. Isn't that funny? I did not know it said back to the world underneath her picture. I hadn't looked at this in years and years. I just recognized her face because she worked in the part of the motor pool where she took care of my ambulances. So I was going to say the reason why they put me in the ambulance section and in the emergency room is because the emergency room is in a way like the front, even though it's typically the back door of a hospital, it's really the front door of the hospital. So it's the way that a lot of people make their way into the hospital their first time, and the experience it can be, you can make it or break it in the ER. And they only want handsome guys working in the ER, right? They want you to be good looking, like this guy right here, Hollywood Joe. So they want you to be handsome, and yeah, so that's the reason why they put me there in the emergency room. So you're going to see when we get to the emergency room, you're going to just see lots of handsome fellows and ladies. And look, man, it just goes on and on. This is not a big hospital, you guys. This was really, I don't think it was very big, but as far as hospital standards go. It's a lot of fun to work in this hospital, you guys. And I mean, I could see that it would be entirely possible that we might get comments on this video of people saying, Meyer, why are you going so quickly? We want to read all the funny things that people wrote and look at all the pictures because there's some weird stuff in here. Right? Like, look at this. Major Che. Okay, I know you think that says Major Choi right there, but if you've ever been to Korea or you have a Korean girlfriend or husband or wife or relative, you know that is typically pronounced Che. So it says substitute photo original not submitted. I need a date. Can you help me? So apparently Major Che, she needs a date. So people are going to say in the comment, oh, dude, this is my buddy right here. So this was a good friend of mine that worked in radiology, who had alopecia and was one of the coolest guys I was ever in the Army with. He was a great X-ray technician. I worked with him a lot because, as I mentioned, I worked in the emergency room because I was handsome. So that's the guy that brings the portable X-ray machine at like 3:30 in the morning. So yeah, people are going to leave messages, and they're going to say in the comments, they're going to say, Meyer, why are you skipping all this comedy gold? We know that there's funny stuff on every page, and there really is funny stuff on every page, but this video is not going to be as long as that last video, and also I'm already getting tired. So if enough people leave enough messages, maybe we'll go through slowly and we'll look at these pictures and read the funny captions, and also I can tell you about all of the people because I pretty much know everybody in this entire hospital. And have a little bit of a story to tell just about everybody. And not really about everybody, but certain particular people I can tell you stories about who's funny and who's smart and who's cool. And that would be everybody. Everybody in this entire hospital was funny, smart, and cool. Why are we not getting to the emergency room? Could we possibly, did they save the best for last? I'm betting you Turtle. I just saw a girl that we used to call Turtle. Here we go. They save the best for last. Oh look, here's newborn nursery. One of my best friends worked over here in newborn nursery, and he told me that it was almost like a living hell. Because it was all these women, right? And there's my buddy right there. So this is my friend over here in this picture over on the bottom right, and he worked in this in this location in the newborn nursery, and he said it was rough because it's just all these women. It's a very high estrogen level at all time in this location to be in the hospital. So to be a man, to be one of two of the only men that work in the entire unit, it can be taxing. But not so in the emergency room. In the emergency room, they want handsome guys like my buddies right down here. See? It's this big, honest. Here's Speller. Another one of my good friends. I don't know what it is about that soju, but it show is funky. All right, so me and this guy right here wrote all of the captions on the back of all of these pictures. So could you imagine putting a look at this individual. He's Ranger tabbed, and he's cheesing it up for the camera, wrapping up this poor this poor soldier, because these guys showed up with the camera one day. There's Smitty. Told you to get out of my face. This is the big boss at this place right here. And then you got a bunch of doctors. They're bosses too, but not really, because they're like not really. They're like off doing stuff until you need them for the most part. There, Myra. This lady was hot right here. This lady was smart right here. So this was probably the biggest boss when it came to nursing officers. I'm pretty sure she's a captain and she was an RN. And she was like in charge of a lot of training and stuff. I learned so much from her. She like forced me to learn stuff like blood gases. She forced me to learn all this lab stuff, chemical stuff that you need to learn, EKG stuff that you need. And she has a broken arm right here, and she also is pregnant in this picture. So she's a really good trainer. You need to learn stuff quickly, and you need to memorize stuff quickly in the emergency room, because the quicker and better you are with it, like it can help with diagnosis and treatment and stuff. This is all my friends. This is me right here. See, I don't see anything. I forget this kid's name. That's me looking at the camera. Wow, this is Smiley. So look how young I look. So I was like a 24, maybe 24-year-old sergeant right here. Very young to be in this position, to be in charge of ambulances and calls and all that. This is one of my favorite human beings on the entire earth. His name is Smiley. Not really smiling very much in this picture, but this guy is amazing. So, R.I.P. Smiley. So as you can see, we're just having fun. They came in here like on an afternoon, and people are just joking around for the camera, pretending that we're doing stuff, but there's no patience. So this is Smiley in my office. So when you get there and you're made an NCOIC, they give you an office, right? But the only thing that really changes is they put your name on the door, and then they remove the other person's name that was there before you. But the office on the inside pretty much stays the same. And my office was pretty much inhabited by 6 Korean ambulance drivers that all had worked for years and years and decades for the U.S. Army at this hospital driving the ambulances. Because driving ambulances in Seoul, Korea is not a job for an American GI. The traffic is terrible there. The laws are terrible. You need to be able to speak the language, to scream in Korean out the loudspeaker of the ambulance to tell people to get out of the way. So this is Smiley taking a bet over the phone. He says, yeah, I want $5 on Rainmaker in the 5th race. Oh, this is funny right here. Type it yourself. This guy used to always say "in my country." That's why it says "in my country" right here. This guy right here. They always say "in my country." We were in his country. Wow, this guy really was the road warrior. This guy, this great cast. A lot of good people here. these are a couple of the big bosses right here in the center, and they're great. This is a really, really great doc, great boss. I wish he stayed longer. He ended up being replaced by somebody else, but he was a really good emergency room doctor. This is some National Guard lady who was just there for like 3 months or something on her summer duty. This is one of the head nurses, and I knew her prior to Korea. I knew her in the United States as well, and she's a really good nurse, just kind of hard-headed, but absolutely beautiful, like movie star beautiful. And that's it. And then we got, what is this, the ER, or the OR, and then here's everybody's pictures and names. And I don't want to show everybody's names. No, this was a really fun unit and a really fun place. So they would have balls, and sometimes they would have weddings. People got married sometimes in the Army, and everything here is. And so the U.S. Embassy is right here, at this location where this hospital is. Oh man, this was these two right here, a couple of my favorite people. So this is a married couple, and they are in the Army, and they're awesome. Me and my girlfriend went and saw Arsenic and Old Lace live on stage with these two. So they would have these balls, right? Which they, once you make a little bit of rank in the Army, they have nicer parties. It's not just a bunch of guys getting drunk out of the beer machines. After you've been in for 4 or 5 years and you make some rank, you get involved to these parties. You get invited to these parties, and they can be fun. I know almost all the people here, and I was at this party. Both of them, actually. One of these pictures are from a party and a wedding. It says Christmas ball. That was the Christmas ball. This is the NCO dining in. So I went to both of those, and then I thought there were wedding pictures here too, because I went to a wedding as well all the same people in the same uniforms. These are our sports teams. These are this lady is cool. Just pictures. This is probably an entire week of athletic competition. so man, so it's you get a lot of personalities in the Army, and you get a lot of active people that love doing stuff, and there's stuff going on every single day. And this was like, look, organization day. Even though it says organization day, I think this was a week-long situation. There were every kind of sports tournament you could think of, every kind of a race you could think of, everything, every event, every sporting event, every team, everything. The Army is a great place to start. Hope you enjoyed looking at the 18th Medical Command 121 Evac Hospital, 8th Army, Korea 1989 yearbook. If you want to go through it in another video, more slowly, picture by picture, and look at all these hilarious things written underneath everybody's pictures, remember, just leave a message there in the comment section, and we'll be sure to make a 3-hour video going through and looking at every one of these humorous. This is the kitchen. It just says doo-wop, doo-wop. I have no clue. I just pull it up to the camera. My vision, also keep in mind, you guys, when I'm doing most of these, there's Russ, doing most of these videos, my vision's pretty poor these days, and so I don't see much. So until I bring it up close into the camera and focus on it, I don't know what I'm looking at. This is one of my best friends. That's Russ. And his picture just says, "Hi, Mom." I bet you he wrote that himself. Dan here, too. This is the pharmacy. This is pretty much, I think this is the farm. It doesn't say it, but that's the pharmacy. Russell worked in the pharmacy, which is what he's doing there. I think he's counting pills and putting them in little bottles, which is what he did. But we used to drink a lot of beer. He was a part of my crew, and we would go and hang out in Itaewon, in a place we called the Ville. Neighborhood in Itaewon. Picture of me? Sure. This young lady worked in the chow hall. Saw her multiple times a day. Another cool thing about being handsome and working in the emergency room, when you go to chow, a lot of times you get food, you get preferential treatment because you're working in the emergency room and you have a radio with you, right? And so anything could happen at any moment. So a lot of times, people like this young lady, they would hook me up. I'm handsome and I have a radio, so she might hook me up completely where I don't have to wait in a long line or something. She might give me the best of everything on a tray, and then when I sit down at my little table, I put my radio right there on the table and I turn it at a reasonable volume in case there's something goes down, in case there's a code or in case there's a call and I need to run to the ER and jump in an ambulance. So, I mean, working in the ER and being handsome, nowhere to go but up from there. Yes, I think chickens have skinny necks. Why do you ask? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Like that one. Hurry up and take the picture. We're almost out of time. Remember how I said we've got 25 minutes? We're getting close. And if I do this a little bit more, we don't have to worry about the comments. Doesn't matter what people say in the comments. We're not going to go through. Oh, I remember this dude too. This guy was in my old barracks. I don't know his name, but he was in the old barracks. So at the beginning, I had these shitty barracks where I had this fucking room with all these other plebes, right? And then when they made me NCOIC of the ambulance section, they moved me to the NCO barracks where it was just nothing but sergeants, and you had super nice rooms with really nice bathrooms, and you had a house. Boy, I forgot that. I haven't even told. A lot of stories about Korea, you guys. So when you get to when you make sergeant and they put you in the sergeant barracks, you get a houseboy. And in an earlier video I talked about the boot blacks. The houseboy is also a racket. Excuse me. So the houseboy situation is there's a guy that you pay. He's not even a boy. He's like a 60-year-old man. And in my case, his name was Mr. Bay. He had an office in our building, for crying out loud. Every single person in the building has to pay $30 a month to Mr. Bay, $1 a day. And Mr. Bay does absolutely everything, but he doesn't even actually do it. These young girls that work for Mr. Bay do it. They make all your beds. They shine all your boots. They iron all your uniforms. They clean the bathrooms. They sweep, mop, shine the floors. They'll even, if I go to the PX, say it's a Friday night and I'm going to go out and I go to the PX and I buy a new shirt at the PX, like an Arrow shirt, one of those ones that's folded up with the pins in it and everything inside of it, wrapped up in the plastic. I go and I knock on the door and Mr. Bay or some young lady is there, and I just give the shirt to them and say I'm going to go in I don't even say anything. I just give them the shirt. Then I go take a shower. That shirt will be ironed and hung on a hanger and in my room within the hour, probably, unless I'm fucking up. But otherwise, they're on top of absolutely everything. And it's also a racket. You pay the money, they do everything, and nothing bad ever happens in the barracks. No one ever, there's never even an inspection. No one even comes and looks. Interesting, huh? So I could tell you a lot of stories about living in Seoul, Korea in 1989. And some of them would blow your minds. How I remember. She was cute. It says, don't worry, be happy. Yeah, she's got a nice tan, this girl. A natural blonde with really nice skin. All right, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'm sure you thought that this was a lot of fun. And as it is still Veterans Day weekend, this is another Veterans Day video. So I would like to say thank you for your service if you're a veteran, and happy Veterans Day. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys later.